Welcome to our viewers in Nigeria, across Africa, and everywhere else on the globe. Today is Thursday, 12th of August, 2021. We're gradually, entering into the middle of the month of August. This month is, I don't know if it's going really fast or really slow. It's just, going at a moderate pace. But yes, it's a beautiful day here in Abuja. That's Nigeria's capital city. And of course, it's a good day to bring you the conversation here on TOS TV Network, your digital first Pan-African news network. And of course, my name is Adesu Alsuyi.
And I am Sagir Ibrahim. Thank you so much for joining us on the show.
Good morning, Sagir.
Good morning,
I wanted to say that before you did.
But
how are you doing?
Let's greet and just kickstart.
Well, I just wanted to be the first to say good morning.
You don't have to be dramatic this morning.
Well, if I'm not dramatic, who else is going to be
it's a day
dramatic?
before Friday, so
exactly. That's why I'm hyped.
We should try as much as possible to be in good terms to enter Friday, so that the weekend can be soft.
I like the sound of that. I like it.
Don't come and be rushing things for somebody.
How are you feeling today?
Yeah, I'm feeling great.
How prepared are you for the show this morning?
Well, I'm good. Yeah. What about you?
You can see I'm very wow. I'm very excited to be here this morning.
Right.
I mean, it's always a good time. It's always good to actually, bring the here on conversation every morning. All right. So, as is my custom, as I always do, some morning motivation for you. So I'm going to be bringing you our quote of the day just to spur you into, the day. And of course, after that, we're going to be looking at stories from across Africa.
There are certain moments in the day when I need my me time to just unwind and indulge.
What is this?
The Cadbury goodness is in every pack of Cadbury 3-in-1 hot chocolate, making you feel cheerful and pleasant. Enjoy the Cadbury goodness.
Okay, let's get into the stories. We're starting from Somalia. So Somalia has set up a national payment system to help develop its financial industry. So as part of its plan to develop the financial industry in one of the world's most fragile states, following decades of political and economic instability, Somalia has set up a national payment system. The 13 lenders in the Horn of Africa nation can now become interoperable, connected to the clearing and settlement system of the central bank and able to transact with each other. Central Bank of Somalia Governor Abdirahman M. Abdullahi said in an interview, the system will facilitate transactions between vendors and their customers more efficiently. The payment system will enable more financial inclusion in a secure and safe manner, said Abdullahi. The impact on the economy will be unprecedented. It will boost trade and business.
It's good to see that, stability is coming to some of these areas that have been water on for decades.
Yeah.
And now we see Somalia, the unrest there is, getting settled, and we can see they've been, trying to put in efforts to ensure
just to
that
rebuild
they
the country.
the economy,
exactly.
rebuild the country to ensure, that life becomes a normal. Not the normal that they've been used to, but the normal that they are supposed to be used to. So it's always good to see that kind of development. And one can only hope, that other parts of Africa that are still war-torn or is still in one kind of unrest or instability or the other, find some way or a way to manage those instability, get peace, and start developing.
I mean, I'm pretty excited for Somalia because in as much as they're still having to deal with Al-Shabaab and all of that, but they're looking beyond that. So in as much as this has been going on 20 years of civil war, then there's the Al-Shabaab insurgency and all that. But they're saying, look, we've had to go through all of this. We still have to deal with this. But let's just now look towards, economic stability and just having to rebuild the economy and say, despite whatever is happening, people can still, live a normal life.
Yeah, let's hope it works out well for them. Okay, moving on, still about Somalia. Kenya and Somalia have agreed to reset the Kenya-Somalia relations after months of strained ties. This comes after Kenyan President Uhuru Kenyatta held bilateral talks with visiting Somali Prime Minister Mohamed Robo in the coastal city of Mombasa. The bilateral relations between the two neighboring countries have been strained for several months after Mogadishu accused Nairobi of violating its sovereignty and interfering in the country's political affairs.
Yeah, it's always very good when countries in Africa decide to just mend the issues and decide to work together. I mean, we're looking for one Africa where we can do trade, businesses and all of that. And then if we have countries that are not in good terms with each other, I think that's going to happen a lot.
Exactly.
So especially if you were like border countries, but having to say, look, I know we have our differences, but we need to just put that aside and see how we can work together to better.
I was going to say, so on the road to democracy and building a stable economy, it is very important to establish relationship with countries around and countries you could establish business relationships with, build new relationships, mend old unfractured relationships, re-established relationships that have been lost, to create a lost connection between the two countries, or for the bilateral development of both countries. So it's good to see Somalia has been in the news for really good reasons in the last couple of weeks and even months. It's really good. Else, we've all known, anytime you hear Somalia or Mogadishu, if it's not bomb-related, it's Al-Shabaab related. So it's really good to see that this is going on currently.
Okay, talking about good news, this is on Ethiopia Tigray crisis. So the UNHCR has regained access to Tigray refugee camps. Nearly a month since violent clashes in Ethiopia's Tigray region prevented UNHCR staff from reaching two camps for Eritrean refugees, the UN Refugee Agency and its partners have regained access. The delivery of urgently needed assistance restarted on 5th August for the 23,000 refugees in Mai Aini and Adi Harosh camps. UNHCR said humanitarian access into Tigray has improved in the past week, and its staff and 12 trucks carrying emergency aid have reached Mekelle, the region's capital. I mean, Tigray has been in the news for the longest, I think, in the past month. And I know that every attempt to get humanitarian aid has been hampered by either the way blocks or something is happening. They just keep preventing access, and then you have millions of people at the brink of starving and all of that. So having to see that somehow they've been able to access these camps and humanitarian aid has been able to get to them is really good news, and I'm pretty excited about it.
And I think it's also good for the two governments involved to have accepted responsibility of some sort to all of the things that have been going on in Tigray. Initially they denied the presence of military firepower in those regions. They denied attacking civilians. They denied all of the unspeakable things that have been going on there. But at some point, they were like, hey, okay, we did some of it. We're not saying we didn't do these things, but then some of these things that they are pinning on us might not have been done by us. But we don't deny the fact that, yes, we sent troops into those regions. However, we want to make it better, and it's good to see that things are indeed getting better there as well. Okay,
talking about making things better. So we're bringing you COVID-19 updates from across Africa right now. But I did say to make things better. So you know that I'm going to tell you, I'm going to keep hammering it, that you need to do your part so we can, avoid the casualties and all of that that comes with being infected with COVID. So you have to do your bit to ensure you get vaccinated, wear your face mask as often, whenever you step out, avoid social gatherings, social distance, all of those things that we've been talking about in the last 1 year. Just keep doing that, because the third wave of COVID-19 is as deadly as it comes. So COVID-19 update from across Africa, and afterwards we'll be looking at newspaper headlines from across Africa.
North to South Africa, East to West Africa, TOS TV Network is your digital-first Pan-African news network, bringing you news from across the continent. Visit our website www.tostvnetwork.com and follow us on social media at TOS TV Network on Instagram, Facebook and Twitter. Watch us on television, channel 138 on TSTV Africa.
My son has always dreamt of being in the spotlight. As his mother, it is my duty to help him live up to his dream. That's why I give him Born Vita every day, which contains iron, zinc, and vitamin C that supports his immunity and gives him the strength to pursue his dreams. Born Vita, strength to dream.
Still watching the conversation on your digital first Pan-African News Network, and you could connect with TOS TV Network as well as the conversation by reaching us on our various social media platforms on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram at TOS TV Network. You could also watch the conversation on our website at www.tostvnetwork.com. You could also stream some of our other content via our YouTube page at TOS TV Network. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It is the newspaper headline segment of the conversation, and this morning we will be starting with the Punch newspaper. For the headline there, we see recalled envoy, diplomat arrive today, Indonesia defends assault. A couple of riders underneath. We shall take action after discussing with the envoy, says federal government. Nigerian diplomat, the aggressor, elbowed immigration official, and that's according to the ambassador. Underneath the picture of the day there, we see FG laments as abductors collect extra 24 million naira on Baptist school students. A couple of other headlines there on the Punch newspaper. You could simply grab a copy to keep updated.
Okay, let's look at the front page of the Daily Trust newspaper. I'm going to be starting from the banner headline on Daily Trust newspaper, and it's on VAT ruling. Federal government to lose taxes amidst dwindling revenue. States with low revenue profile will suffer. That's from experts. FIRS to appeal as Justice Ministry studies case. We only interpreted Constitution. That's coming from Rivers State. And underneath the picture of the day, Nigeria, fifth highest World Bank debtor, owes 4.8 trillion naira. Quite a number of interesting headlines on the Daily Trust newspaper this morning. Do grab yourself a copy.
We move to the Daily Times newspaper. We see from the very top, unity pivotal for national security, economic success, and that's by the Vice President Yemi Osinbajo. For the headline there underneath the newspaper identity, agitation for secession not in indigo interest should be jettisoned. For the banner headline there, we see we'll lift Twitter ban soon, and that's according to the federal government. Reintroduces toll plazas on highways, vehicles to pay between 200 to 500 naira toll per trip. And that's it for the Daily Times newspaper this morning.
And let's look at the front page of the Business Day newspaper, starting from the banner headline there. Lagos to create 5.2 trillion naira electricity market from gutting dirty generators. Another headline there says how your cooking gas cylinder can become a ticking time bomb. Investors hunt for winners in Africa's booming ride-hailing market. And the last headline there says DMO reassures Nigeria not in debt distress.
For the Blueprint newspaper this morning, we see gas importation will stifle domestic production. That's the DPR warns. APC 15 states petition Buni committee over World Congresses, 12 yet to submit reports. FG in talks to reverse Twitter ban, and that's by Lai Mohammed. For the banner headline there, we see cholera spreads, kill 393 in Kano, Katsina, Sokoto, KB, others. That could be found on page 6. Thousands hospitalized, Gombe Health Commissioner suggests way out. Under the picture of the day there, we see Niger Commissioner's abductors demand $1.2 million ransom. Councillor's wife, 7-month-old baby kidnapped in Zamfara. Quite a couple of other colorful headlines there on the Blueprint newspaper. You can simply grab a copy to keep updated. And the last newspaper, that's the last front page we're going to be looking at, is the front page of the Nigerian News Direct. And the first headline there says, Federal Government reintroduces toll gates, lists 10 regulating conditions. Beside that, respite as Federal Government plans to lift ban on Twitter. Taiwan Excellence curates $150,000 grant for entrepreneurs, change makers. The banner headline on the Nigerian News Direct is an oil spill, Shell to pay Ogoni communities 45.9 billion naira compensation. Compensation satisfies final judgment. That's from Shell spokesman. Blames spill on third party during civil war. Nigeria not high debt risk nation. That's from the DMO. NAPGAM bemoans federal government reintroducing of cooking gas tax. And then the last headline says, Mohammed Ndimi at 74, philanthropic impact on grassroots development. And that's it for the newspaper headline segment of the conversation this morning. We will go on a quick break now, and when we return, we will be bringing you the big story.
You won't go shake your body. Instead, they make it calm down. Eat the farm, say it's happy. You want to grow 6 packs in a day. I beg you not to pass your power. You want to show yourself, oh.
Whatever your size, find it with the new Airtel data plans. Dial *141# now to get the plan that suits you. Airtel, the smart.
At the first sign of pain, you need a solution that you can trust to provide effective relief and is gentle on the stomach. Try Panadol Caplets for relief from headaches, body aches, and fever. With Panadol's Optizorb formula, the tablet gently breaks down in the stomach, quickly absorbs, and starts providing pain relief in 15 minutes. For fast and effective pain relief that you can trust, try Panadol Caplets. This has been Medifact for Panadol.
You're also watching the conversation on your digital first Pan-African News Network, TOS Television. And like I always say, you can be part of the conversation by connecting with us on our various social media platforms on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at TOS TV Network. You could also watch the conversation via our website at www.tostvnetwork.com, as well as stream some of our content and programs via our YouTube page at TOS TV Network. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It is the big story segment of the conversation, and this morning's focus is going to be on the deplorable state of Nigeria's sports industry. Joining us this morning to discuss this as well as other issues is Mr. Ayo Adams, who is a sport analyst and enthusiast. Thank you so much for coming to the studio.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes. So first of all, I would want to know, of course, because I mean the PSG Messi affair was concluded yesterday. So what's your reaction on that?
Well, first of all, it's been over 20 years that Messi came to Barcelona, came at 13, left at 34. Yeah. That's amazing. So it was a farewell that was almost imminent. But then we were just, as Barcelona, I'm a Barcelona fan, as Barcelona fans, we were waiting patiently to see if he was still going to stay with the team for a long time.
Are you a Barcelona fan or a Messi fan? Because it seems there's been disparity.
Okay, so let me clarify that. Let me clarify that.
Okay.
I'm a Barcelona fan.
Okay.
But I'll follow Messi wherever he goes to.
Okay, now you're a PSG
Messi fan.
Now I'm a FC Empire.
Oh, okay. Oh, really?
Now, with regards to Messi, with the fact that he's the greatest player of all time, he's currently the biggest player of all time. I mean, you've seen the noise and the reactions from Paris from the transfer. Even the fact, tracking back to when he even sent the bureau fax that he wanted to leave Barcelona, over 3 million tweets were sent out within less than 2 hours. The world of football reacted, the world of sports reacted to him saying he wanted to leave Barcelona at the time. Then the issues were solved. Then things were moving amicably. Then he won the Copa America. And then it was in so much joy. And then he came back. He wanted to come back. They've agreed to deal with the new president and everything. But then there was a La Liga wage cut, which La Liga says, if your wages are not below 70% or 70%, we can't have you. And Barcelona have top stars in their teams, like such as Griezmann, Piqué, and the rest. And they've all agreed to take pay cuts, even inclusive with Messi. But with that, there is still a lot of wages to cut. And you understand? And people kept saying that he should have taken extra pay cut. He should have played for free. Why would you have someone to play for free?
Play for free, yes.
If you look at the track record of Barcelona, also going back to when people always say that, people, analysts, Ronaldo fans and so on, always say that he put the club in bankruptcy. No, that's wrong. The past presidents put the club in bankruptcy with their shady deals, using transfers to cover it up. Lionel Messi came out and said his mind. They've been lying to him for years. So he finally came out and said his mind, and things were out in the open. And now he wanted to leave. Then new president came in, someone that he was really familiar with since his childhood days in the La Masia, and everything was going on smoothly up until La Liga's allegations and so on. Now, there's an inside story that people have not heard about, which is when La Liga offered Barcelona the new, there was an injection of funds into La Liga, which they were going to share across all teams, which would help them secure more players with their wages. There was a clause in there which was not really made generally public, that Barcelona had to leave the Super League, which they are still in. Now, mind you, the Super League, the clubs who went into the Super League went there with one thing in mind: money. COVID hit a lot of big clubs. Currently right now, Inter Milan, they are in major debt. They are selling off their biggest players. But Barcelona are not that far worse. So it was there in the clause, which was stated to them, you have to leave the Super League, then we can give you this. Part of the clause is there. But then Joan Laporta is not ready to leave the Super League because he thinks that maybe one day it will come back to favor them. And then the only thing that could happen was, this La Liga was 7-8 days away. Look, we have to sort this thing out. If I have to go, let me know. If I have to stay, and he was open about it, okay, this is not happening. You have to go. And almost immediately, the most viable option was PSG, because Manchester City just splashed £100 million on Jack Grealish. So it was going to be impossible for them to want to pick up Messi. So the most viable option was to go to PSG. Now, PSG President Khalifa is such a smart man. I mean, like, we should give him props for what he's done in this transfer window. First, look, if you track back, he was the first person who took Neymar away from Barcelona. He gave La Liga a check. Cash it, give me Neymar. Because Barcelona tried to push Verratti at the time, and he did that as a clapback. Now with Messi and Neymar have this relationship that Messi has been telling Neymar to come back to Barcelona, Neymar has been telling Messi to come over to PSG. So finally there was an opportunity for him to get them. Now, PSG did not go into the Super League because of one thing. They had personal funds and wages. It was just more than obvious. Now there's what they call the financial fair play rule. It's in place, but there's technicalities to it. If you find lawyers who can go around and walk around technicalities, nothing would happen. People are wondering how did PSG, how were they able to secure all these players? Now the thing is, PSG have the money to pay the wages, but they don't have the money to pay the transfer. Now they've looked into the future, which I would think that maybe their marketing people or their financial advisors did, was in 2-3 years time, or in a year time, which they might not have even thought would be this early. These big clubs will not be able to pay the wages of these players because they don't have money.
So, Mr. Ayo, let me cut you there.
Yeah, because I was going to say, if I leave you two, you guys are going to keep going on with the name of PSG.
So let's come back to Nigeria, away from Messi, PSG, and the entire Barcelona saga. So why is Nigeria's sports industry in the state it is, despite efforts from both government and private individuals to develop it?
One thing you should know with sports, it's very similar to Messi's case also, is if the custodians of a platform are not invested, or they are not, they don't have the love and passion for it, they should not be. They're picking from what Blessing Okagbare said at the Olympics. She said it. If you're not passionate about the sports that we do, do not be part of its administrators. That is one of the things wrong with Nigerian sports. That is why it's had so much since the 1990s, 2000, when we had glory. Nigeria was among the top 10 countries in the world when it came to athletics and all other sports. We were highly regarded. Since then, we've plummeted down and down and down and down. And if you look at the most significant thing has been its administrators. Solomon Dalong was the Minister of Sports. Wrong move. He scrapped the Sports Commission and so on and so forth. Brought in people who were not passionate about Nigerian sports, who did not have progression, who did not have plans, who did not have great initiatives for sports. Sport is not just for leisure anymore. If you look around the world, sport is now becoming a global business. It's becoming a business, it's becoming a brand, it's becoming initiatives for employment, for development, for the technological advancement. If you look at the Premier League, the La Ligas, they've been advancing technologically with VARs, with the goal line technologies, and so on and so forth. But now, if you come down to Nigeria, which we are giants of Africa, supposed giants of Africa. If you look at us in the recent years, and earlier this year, we could not participate in the World Athletics in Poland because the Nigerian Athletics Federation have two presidents. They have two factions. The Okowa faction backed by the Minister of Sports, and then the Ibrahim Bousso faction, who has been there since 2017. Now, if you have two presidents, who do you listen to? Now, take it to 2019 when we signed a deal with Puma. He was looked at as progress. But since then, there's still been this dispute, internal dispute, the fight for power, the grab for power. It's not going to end. If two elephants are fighting, the grass will suffer. Grass being the athletes. And we, the Nigerian sport-loving fans, it's what has been happening. The athletes are, and I'm really happy that they spoke out. They've all come out to say they're tired. Because looking back, you see lots of athletes, they've just kept quiet. They don't, because if you speak out, you either not get called up for the next competition or you get sanctioned for just saying the truth. And I think we just need to work on it. It's plummeted down to one of the very, very worst.
Okay, sorry. You mentioned earlier that people at the helm of affairs in the Nigerian sports on scene are maybe not actually interested, don't have interest or passion for developing that sector. Would you say that that's what we saw play out at the Tokyo 2020 Olympics? Because there was issue of negligence, there were people not being able to compete and all of that. Would you say that's what we saw play out?
Yes. And let me take you back to 2019 when the deal with Puma and the Athletics Federation was signed. Yes. Puma is one of the biggest sports brands in the world in competition with Nike, Adidas, and such. The deal was signed. The deal was signed to cover all athletes of all ages, of all categories. They will be sponsored with kits to any of their championships, Major League Athletics, Olympics, and so on. And the Olympics was closer. So Puma was looking at Nigeria to showcase the new brands. Each of the bags that Puma sent to the Athletics Federation has at least 40 items for the athletes to put on. Now, when the dispute happened during I think it was June, before the Poland World Athletics, Nigeria didn't attend. Just know that Nigeria did not attend because the Minister of Sports took the athletes somewhere else to train because Ibrahim Boussa's faction did not want to release credentials to let the athletes register. So, okay, fine. You don't want to release it. They are not going. So that happened. Nigeria was absent from there. So now, taking it to the Tokyo 2020 Olympics, they got ready. The Athletics Federation, from their own statement, said, we've given these items from Puma to the athletes, but they are rejecting it. Not the athletes particularly. The people. Now, this Minister of Sports, now he has the veto power to do anything that he likes at the moment. So that's what happened. So now they went into the Olympics with different brands. Someone with a local brand, which was fine. You can have a local brand and also have Puma, which is fine. Yeah. But seeing a competing brand, some of the Nigerian athletes wore Nike, which was wrong. Totally wrong, because you have a signed agreement. Puma is threatening to sue. They might sue. They will sue the Federation and the Ministry of Sports, because they were both the letter that they brought or whatever they signed carried both credentials. Yes. So that's how worse it's gotten. Now they couldn't test the athletes properly. Yeah. We're supposed to test them at least 3 unnoticed tests 10 weeks prior to the competition. None of that was done, and if it was done, it was not done properly. They got there. They were tested in Tokyo by the athletics body, integrity unit, and boom, these athletes they've not gone through the rigorous testing they should have gone through. 12 were banned immediately. Some of these people who were banned got there by themselves. Not that they've been training. Their training sessions, their preparation was done by themselves. The federal government and the other people, they didn't provide them with these amenities and abilities to do this thing. Yeah, they did it by themselves. And then the country as a whole moved there. First of all, one of the things we saw when we got to Tokyo was they were even dressed differently. We're not in uniform, as we should be. So it was an international embarrassment on our part. But I was happy it was an embarrassment because so now it's not just me and my fellow sports lovers who are seeing it. It's the whole world seeing it. And Nigerians who did not know this was going on. It was also a blessing in disguise. So that's what happened. And then Beston Kagari also got banned too, and so on. And these were all results of mismanagement, poor administration, and negligence of some people who think that power grab is better than making the athletes feel safe mentally and physically.
Okay, so as it is now, because it seems it's obvious that all of what happened during the Olympic has dealt a huge blow to the morale of athletes and those who partook or who were supposed to participate in the Olympics, such that they might not even be encouraged to want to participate in the next Olympics or any other athletic events that we're going to be having. So what is the way forward? How does Nigeria redeem itself, firstly in the world, and secondly to these athletes who have lost hope in the Nigerian sports industry?
First of all, is one thing is these athletes, whether you like it or not, they love Nigeria. Honestly, they want to put on the green. I mean, we saw the Tigers. Yeah, we saw the Tigers and the Tigers. They want to put on the green, white, green jersey. It's amazing to see, and we have so much support from this side of the world. Once you're a Nigerian and you identify with Nigeria, you have the 200 million people behind you, which is a lot of numbers. So first of all is the fact that sport is developing amongst the grassroots. If you look around you, namely Abuja, we have the likes of, we have great initiatives such as Abuja Flag Football. They are growing immensely in Abuja. 5 Stars Football.
5 Stars,
yes. Premier League, they're developing this tough arena, doing theirs too. There is the Body Rocks gym, also doing the combative sports. So in some of these areas, some of these people they've just been there growing themselves, knowing fully well that, okay, you guys don't want to help, we will help ourselves. And because there are people who want to do sports, there are people who are passionate about sports, they are ready to join these little groups, these grassroots development groups, to push themselves so that maybe one day when everyone eventually comes to their senses and realize that Nigeria's sports growth is the main thing, is what we should all be clamoring after, there will be a chance for a stepping stone. Now, how do we move forward? Is create initiatives. I don't see why the National Sports Commission was scrapped. The National Sports Festival was supposed to be one of the biggest things that people looked forward to in Nigeria. It's now been dubbed and watered down by states now bring mercenaries to come help. To come help their fellow states. That's not supposed to be on merit. If you're good enough to participate and represent your state duly, legally.
And maybe by extension, you participate in the Olympics.
Exactly. So when people see talent, and Nigeria is a home of raw talent, raw, brilliant talents. People, they are resilient. They don't give up. They want to keep fighting tooth and nail, day and night. You see them always trying to go out there. But if you don't create an environment where they feel mentally comfortable, where there's an avenue for them to grow, they would not, like you said, they would not want to participate anymore. So the one thing they need to do now is these initiatives that these other grassroots platforms have created. Imagine if the government had invested in them, or they are the ones creating it, and managed properly with the proper custodians. Then you have so much avenues. Someone wakes up one morning, your sister wants to play basketball, he can go. Your brother wants to play football, there's a place to go to. My brother wants to play table tennis, there's a place to go to. Someone's brother wants to do combative sports, there's a place to go to. Now there's a place to go to, not because you know somebody, not because you're someone of substance, not because you're someone who came from a wealthy background, but because you are good in sports.
Okay, I'm sorry, we're going to have to quote you there. We're really out of time. I feel like if we let you keep going, you can go on and on and on. You're very passionate about this topic. I can see that very well. Thank you so much for joining us on the show this morning. Thank you. And thank you for sticking with us up until this time on the conversation. Don't forget that we'll be back here tomorrow, same time. That means to follow TOS TV Network across all social media platforms. That's TOS TV Network on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course subscribe to TOS TV Network on YouTube so you do not miss out on amazing content. You can also stream the conversation and other contents on www.tostvnetwork.com. My name is Adesu Walsui.
And I am Sagir Ibrahim. See you tomorrow and stay safe.